Would any of the children like to come up front? Shiloh, would you like to join us too? You're welcome to just sit down right here. I just want to be able to talk to you a little bit. Do you have a favorite color? Yeah? Black, red, and green. That's not one. If you had to choose just one, what would it be? Black. Interesting. Shiloh, what's your favorite color? Red. And you? Green. Okay. So why do you have favorite colors? Have you ever thought about that? What do you think?
Because we always think of our mind and Lord lets us.
We think with our mind and the Lord lets us think, and that's our favorite color? Yeah. Yes.
We have favorite colors because if you just didn't have favorite colors, if you wanted to buy a special thing, it might be a different color than you wanted it to be. So
Yeah.
you have a favorite color, so you know.
So you have a favorite color to know what color to buy different things like your clothes, and you know you like what you look like in blue. Can I, Rachel, could I have your help for a second? I blindfold your children. All right, here we go. Can you guys see anything? Oops, I don't want to get your hair caught in there. You see your favorite color?
I see black.
All right, so you guys have a seat. Oh no! This is kind of difficult, isn't it? You can't even see your way around. Now I want to ask you, what color is the piece of paper I'm holding in my hand? Oh, can't look. What color is the piece of paper in my hand? Nope. Well, there's some white on it. How about now? What color is it now? Nope. The first one was red, and the second one was blue. Now, can you imagine in your mind? Can you imagine in your mind when I say this? The color of this one is red. What would you have an idea of what that looks like in your mind? Yeah. And what if I said this one's blue? You'd have an idea of what color that is. What if you never ever saw anything in your whole life? That you were born blind. And this happens. Some people are born and they can't see anything. Could you have a favorite color if you were blind? You couldn't really tell, right? All right, and let's play another game. You guys might want to find what's on the ground. Oh, blindfolds on. Ha! Somebody found it. All right, you guys can take your blindfolds off. The prize was found. Now that has to be shared amongst you kids, okay? So we're going to tell a story about somebody who was born blind. And back when the Lord was telling this story, everybody thought that if you were born with a problem, like you were born blind, that you were like from hell, like you must have sinned or cursed. But they thought it was the person's fault that they were blind, that they maybe were not able to use their arm, things like that. They thought it was the person's fault. But let's listen to what the Lord does with this man. This is the Gospel of John in chapter 9. At the very beginning, it says, "Now Jesus passed by, and he saw a man who was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, 'Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?' Jesus answered, 'Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. I must work the things of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." When he had said these things, he spat on the ground, and he made clay with the saliva. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which is translated sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. Therefore the neighbors and those who previously had seen that he was blind said, "Is this not the man who sat there and begged?" Some said, "This is he." Others said, "He is like him." He said, "I am he." Therefore they said to him, "How were your eyes opened?" He answered and said, "A man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go and wash in the pool of Siloam,' or go to the pool of Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and I received sight." Then they said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I do not know." They brought him, who formerly was blind, to the Pharisees. Now it was a Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then the Pharisees also asked him again how he had received his sight. And he said to them, "He put clay in my eyes, I washed, and I see." Therefore some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God, because he does not keep the Sabbath." Others said, "How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?" And there was a division amongst them. They said to the blind man again, "What do you say about him, because he opened your eyes?" He said, "He is a prophet." But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight until they called the parents of him who had received his sight. So in our story here, the people are accusing, they're trying to find out how did he get his sight back. And he's trying to tell them, Jesus came and he made some clay. He spat on the ground and he made some clay and he put it onto the blind man's eyes. And he told him to go to the pool of Siloam and wash it off, and he was able to see. Yeah?
How was he able to find his way to the pool of Siloam? Lots of rocks.
That is such a good question. You know, sometimes when people are born with things like blindness, or that they learn how to find their way around using their hands, and using, like, sometimes you'll see people using a stick to know where the edge of the sidewalk is, or to know exactly where objects in their house are. So he probably figured out how to do that. You know what's even more amazing? Some people who are blind can actually tell who a person is by putting their hands to your face, and they'll feel all the pieces of your face and know that it's you. So they get to know how to see people through their hands. Isn't that amazing? Now, I want you to think about this, though. Imagine that you've never seen anything, not even your favorite color, and then the Lord comes to you and heals you, and you open your eyes. Imagine all of the beautiful things you would see. Isn't that wonderful that this man all of a sudden was able to see? Now, our story continues, and it says that they brought his parents in and said, "Well, how was he actually born blind?" And they said, "Yes, he was." And, "Well, how did that happen?" And they said, "Well, he's an adult. He can tell you himself." And so the blind man, or now who could see, confirmed again. "Why do you keep asking me?" he said. It says here in verse 24, "So they again called the man who was blind and said to him, 'Give God the glory. We know that this man is a sinner,'" talking about Jesus. He answered and said, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I know, that though I was blind, now I see." Then they said to him again, "Well, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" And he said, "I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you also want to become one of his disciples?" Then they reviled him and said, "You are his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple." Amen. So there's two things I want to think about here. The first one is, how amazing is the Lord? Yeah? He's great. You have another answer for that? How amazing is the Lord? Is there a but in there? Amazing but. Yeah, it's a tough situation. But I want to think about the power that the Lord has here. And think about all of the problems that we might have. Sometimes we might be really confused. Do you know that some people say that you're blind if you don't know something? And when you have an idea, have you ever seen cartoons where there's like a light bulb over somebody's head and you know that it's because he has an idea? So light is kind of like when you can see. And so this story is not just about the Lord's ability to heal our bodies, which he does constantly. If you get a cut, your body heals, right? And it's not your body that heals itself. The Lord continually heals us. But he also can heal our mind. He can help us to see things more clearly and to understand what to do. And so to do that, we need to actually have him make that clay with his saliva. And what that is actually all of the truths that the Lord's word gives to us, so we can learn and the Lord can open our eyes just as he did the blind man. Okay?